Right.
Okay.
Okay, so yesterday we did this OS installation, and this is my server now. So I have created a mount point, something like /u01. So this is the mount point created, sorry, at my home. This space, what I have is around 33
Okay.
gigs available,
Okay.
and memory is around 5 GB is what I have assigned to my system. So here it is.
Okay. Okay.
So this is the VM configuration which I have, and for which I'm going to proceed for the installation. I'll do one thing. I'll keep
Okay.
you guys on the mute as of now. If you need, you can raise your hands, or you can just ping me on the chat so that I'll enable it. Okay, when I need your interaction.
Yes. Yes. Okay. No issue.
Okay, right. Okay, so let's proceed. Let me minimize this window. So I've created a folder SW where my softwares are. Okay, Rakesh left for some reason. Don't know what happened. Let me see. Okay, he's there. Okay, so before we proceed with the installation, I would just like to explain you something. On earlier versions of Weblogic installation, we had 3 modes. For example, on 11G, we had something called console mode, silent, and GUI. But on 12C, we only have GUI and silent install. So there is no console mode in 12C now. Okay, so what's the difference? So console mode is something which is more like interactive. So you run your installation scripts, and then everything runs on your Unix command prompt, and it asks you to enter values. You enter values, and that's how the installation proceeds and it completes. Silent mode is one. So interactive is at command line, interaction, values are entered, and installation proceeds. Okay, so this is on console. Silent mode, we use a file. We use a file with predefined values. So let's say we use silent.xml. You can use any other name, but for example silent.xml with predefined values. Okay. So console mode is the one which we run at command prompt. So mainly we trigger a script for installations to be done, which gives us a list of values to be entered at command prompt. And once we enter the right values, the specified values for installation, that installation proceeds and completes. Silent mode is different, where we run the script at command prompt, but it doesn't ask for any values. Instead, it takes a set of predefined values from a file and those predefined values are mentioned in silent.xml. So your XML contains the values which are required for your installation, and when you run that script, this command picks all those values from that file and then installation is done. So that's on silent. Graphical user interface is what we are going to see today anyways. So this, what it does is it gives you an interface. So you can see your commands running, and you will have a option to enter values. You can select, you will have a radio button, so you can see everything and you can select and you can enter your values yourself. So these are the three modes. Earlier on earlier versions we had all three modes and we could have done using all three modes, but in 12c we only have GUI and silent mode. Okay, so what we have in terms of software, I have this JDK 8 update 77 Linux, and let me unzip this one so that we see which one is this. So this is Fusion Middleware Infrastructure. It's inflating that file. Okay, it's gonna take a while. Okay, so I hope you guys are already ready with your machine configuration. So you have everything in place, all softwares are in place, and you are already ready with your command prompts and everything. Okay, I think you guys can come out of mute so that we interact, because we'll be doing it now together. So
Okay. Yeah. Actually, hi Chandra. So Rakesh here.
yes,
Actually, I have issue with my system, so I'm not able to install it. For me, it takes some time. I think. In the meantime, I will take screenshots and all. Once my system ready, I will try to install it.
okay. No, anyways, you will get the recordings of this session, so you can use this to install it. That's not a problem. But just make sure you do it fast so that you don't lag behind much.
Yes. Actually, system is not good, so I have to visit Lenovo Center. So today I will visit. Let's check. I think they will do in 3 to 4 days. I think.
Oh, okay, I got it. So you're facing some issue with your laptop.
Yes. Yeah. It's
Oh,
it's shadowing automatically.
all right, no issues. Okay, so let's see. So this is what we have as of now. So we have this JDK and this Fusion Middleware file. I'm going to remove this one because I don't need it to save my space. I have already unzipped it. So removing this file. Now I have JDK and Fusion Middleware software. Okay, so this one, you can see this JDK comes with the extension .tar.cz. Okay, so there are two ways to do it. First thing, any zip file you can unzip it using unzip command, something like this, unzip, and then this file. Okay, and then you go for next step would be tar, and then the unzip file. Okay, but for tar.gz we can use tar, gives us option to extract it in one command. So when you run tar zxvf and the file name, it unzips it at the same time it untars as well. So it does two steps in one command.
Okay.
Okay, so let me check my ID. My ID is Oracle, and this is the file I have got. Now once I got this, I don't need this as well. So again I'll remove this so that I don't occupy much space. Now I have what I need. So next thing is I will have to check what is the version of Java supported on my system. I will type a command which Java, and this shows me user/bin/Java. Let me check the version.
Hi Chandra, so can you change the color? Actually, color it's not properly visible.
It's not visible.
Screen color. Yeah, means properly visible.
You want me to increase the font
Next,
size or the color change?
if you if you change the color, it will be okay. I think. Yeah, color and use system colors. Just click on use system colors. Yeah. Okay. Apply.
Okay.
Okay. Now, yeah, it's okay now. Yeah.
Okay. Fine. So right. So we ran this command Java version, and this is what we see. So it says Java version 1.7.045. Okay, update 45. But the JDK which we want to get is 1.8 update 77. Now this is the system one, and you can see that also. It says Open JDK runtime environment or Open JDK 64-bit server. So Java is already there in the system, which comes as a part of OS, but we won't be using it, and this is OpenJDK, which will not be supported for our installation. Let's see, for example, let's just try it. Okay, so I'm trying to run this jar file using the system Java, so which is already there. Okay, there was a question from Mohan. We need to install softwares. So Mohan, which software in specific? Can you tell me, please?
No, I was just not asking question. Everything is set up. Just I need to install the softwares. That's what for the previous question.
Oh, okay, right, right.
Yeah,
All right.
the environment has been set up, and just I need to
Sure.
install everything from JDK as well. So
And also, is that the command Java -r is that command to execute any jar files or what? What is actually the command do?
No, so this like you have tar command which extracts your tar files. Similarly, you see this file extension. It's .jar. So when you
Okay.
run this java-jar, because this is a package created by Java for Java binaries and everything. So these commands, it extract those files, and then after extracting, it executes it. Okay.
Okay. After extracted, it will execute.
Yeah, it will extract the file first. So it will extract this file, and after extracting, it will execute that the binaries inside.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Now you see this. I tried to launch this using this command. So java-jar fmw infrastructure software, and it says the OpenJDK JVM is not supported on this platform. Okay. So as I said, there's something which comes with the system. The default JDK will not be supported. Now what we'll have to do is we have this JDK, and we have to make sure that system accepts it. So let's see. First, let's validate this JDK. So I will do lsltr JDK, and I have this bin file. So there is binary, which is good. And there should be Java here. Okay, let me check for Java directly. So I can see that Java is there. Right, so what I will do now is I will copy this. So this is my bin path. I will take it. I will go to my profile. You know about this till symbol, right? What it does?
Yep.
home directory.
Profile.
Yes. So for your home, and then bash underscore Sorry, I'm not into Flash. So I will define a Java home here. So this is my Java home, and I will append this path at the beginning of my profile. So what I've done here is I have exported Java home and I have assigned it the value of the JDK which we want to configure for our system. So the JDK 1.8 update 77 is what we have extracted. I have defined this value to Java home, and then this Java home / bin I have assigned it to path. Now this is set.
Okay.
Let's see the JDK again with Java. Right. So still it shows the system JDK. Okay. So still it shows system Java. If I'll do Java version, it still shows me the open JDK. Now I have changed in the profile, but there are two ways. I can run the profile now, or I can exit the system and come back. Okay. So let me show you right now by running it. So this, when I'm running, that means I'm sourcing it. So I'm running all the values of bash profile file. So once I do this, and let me run which Java. Now you see the Java path has been changed. Now the new Java, it has picked up the Java which we want for our configuration. Let me check for Java version now. And you see, now we are no more using OpenJDK, and it is Java version 1.8 update 77. And its hotspot Java 64-bit is what we want. So Java is being set, and we are here. So our JDK is set. Let's try to run. Okay, so it is trying to launch. You see this line, launcher log file is /temp ora install launcher. This is the log. So whatever installation logs will be written at this location. You remember when we went through the prerequisites for our installation, it says that temporary location should not be full, or it should have 2.5 times space so that it can run the installer. Because what it does is, during installation it will create all these directories, these temporary files and all, and then it will launch your installation. For that reason, your temp should have enough space. In case this temp is full, or there is not enough space for these directories to be created or logs to be written, your installation fails. So it is extracting file now. Okay, now you see this. So this is trying to start your Oracle Universal Installer. During prerequisite, we saw that CPU speed should be above 300. It says it is passed. Checking monitor must be configured to display at least 256. Display environment not set, failed. Right? So it says our display environment is failed. That means if we'll try to go for installation now, GUI will not be populated. So there is one failure in terms of display because display environment is not set. Checking swap space must be greater than 512. We have 4911 MB, so that's passed. Checking if this platform requires a 64-bit JVM. We have 64-bit, so that is passed. Checking temp space must be greater than 300 MB, and we actual is more than that, so 284114 MB, so that's passed. So there is one failure in terms of display, and it says display is not set. This variable is not set, and it says some system prerequisites check failed. You must fulfill this requirement before continue with the installation. Now let's say if I want to override, okay, it says continue, yes or no. So if I say no, it is gonna exit anyways. If I'll see yes, let's see what happens. You see this? So it has failed. What it complains is no X11 display variable was set. So that means my system right now cannot launch a GUI. This PuTTY session cannot launch a GUI. Let me see why. Okay. So first thing, let me see if display is being set. Right. I don't have a display. For that, what you need to do is when you launch your PuTTY, go to this 192. This is my IP. Your IP may differ. So this is my IP.
Is it IP of Windows or
No, it is
virtual machine?
IP of the virtual machine I have created. So this is the VM, the installation which we did yesterday. Okay, so it is the same, the installation which we did yesterday. Let me show you. Okay, so same machine. So okay, it has become BIDP. Okay, so this machine, if I'll check for IP, you see this. I've created this machine and it generates IP 192.168.0.103. Okay, so this is IP of this machine. So once I've created this virtual machine, what I do is I just minimize it because this command prompt, the terminal which comes with it, it's not very friendly. So I like using PuTTY. PuTTY is quite friendly. So same IP, if I'll see host name, see this is my machine. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
So same
Okay.
machine I'm using. Now when I so this IP, which the machine for which I have created, I'll use this IP. I'll go to under connections in PuTTY SSH. I'll go for X11. I'll do enable X11 forwarding, and I can specify here local host or something, or without that also it works. So I'm going to give my password. Right, you see this, as soon as I launch my password, it says creating new authority file. Now I'll check for display again, and you see I can see let me change the look, as Rakesh said, change in appearance. Okay, so you can see a value in display variable now. I'll go back to my U01/SW. And let me try running the same command. So I'm running it again. So it's trying to extract the file. After extracting, it will try to launch the universal installer. It will check for prerequisites required for universal installer, and if everything is fine, it launches a screen. If it's not, then it will complain. So you guys understood the difference between this console silent and GUI install?
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay, right. Now again you see. So it is trying to start universal installer, and this time everything is passed except the second one, which was for display. But this time it does not complain that display variable is not set, but it actually says actual unknown. That means display is set, so it is fine with it, but it is failed again. Okay. If I'll do yes, it should fail. Okay, right. So I said yes, let's go with product install, and it tried to install it, but then it fails again. Now this time, reason being, it's not about a display. So display is set. Instead it says putty X11 proxy unable to connect to forward X server. So network connection refused. So what I've done is, although I've set up a display, but I've not set up a forward server. So whenever you work with a system like putty, either you can work with mobile xterm, which is a better tool. Otherwise, I can use, you know about xming. So this is there is a software called xming. Let me show you. So this is one software which you can download. Okay, once you download in your system, you will get something called X launch. This. If you do next, I mean, you just have to do next, and then it works. Now, if you see my xming server is running here on 00. If I'll run the same command again, this time it should not fail and it should give me a prompt. So
And actually,
yes, tell me, Rakesh.
what is the use of Xmin actually? And actually, few minutes my internet connection was not there, so I again logged out and logged in.
Okay, no problem. So I'll tell you, see what happens is, you remember the first time the failure happened for the display, it was saying the display variable is not set. Okay, so what we did is, we connected a new session through putty, and this time we said, we have set up forwarding for X11. So we said request for GUI should be forwarded to X11. Okay, now second time when we ran again, putty, because display was set and we were forwarding it to X11, putty was trying to forward it to some X server. Okay, now that X server was not available. That means display was not available, which is nothing but our xming. So this xming, when we have installed and when I clicked on X launch, this server started running. You can see xming server here. So this xming server started, and now when I launch my ZAR file again, it gives me this screen. So that means now my putty is forwarding X11 request to X server, which is my xming now, xming server. And when this server is running, my putty can forward all requests and all GUI can be run through X11. So this eventually is running in X11. I think he has lost connection again.
No, it's working.
Okay, so fine. So you got this thing. So if you want to forward your request for X11 from your putty, you need an X11 server for that. Okay.
Okay, yeah.
Right. So this is one way I have showed you. When you have putty and you have xming, you can do this. I'll show you one more way. So you can decide whatever is easier for you and you can go for that one. So I'll show you another one. There is something called, let me see what I have. Mobile xterm. Okay. This is another good tool because for X11 and all, you will need to do some settings. But this particular tool comes automatically. It sets everything for you. So when I do type my IP, and I say do SSH, I specify username, it will ask me for the password. Right. And you say this, as soon as I have logged in, this tool, mobile xterm, is already setting my SSH client, X server and networking tools. And this is, you can see, for the session, It has set the SSH compression, SSH browser is being set, X11 forwarding is already set. So remote display is forwarded through SSH, and display automatically set on remote server. So it automatically this starts. So when I work with PuTTY, I have to do this forwarding, and then I have to send the request to X11 server so that it can be launched. Here, everything is being set automatically. So if I'll go here and do with Java, should be R Java, yes. Java -jar. Only challenge with mobile XTerm. Okay, let's run it. So that one was my PuTTY session, and this is my XTerm. Let me exit one of the windows. Is this screen visible clearly to you?
Yes.
Yes, no
Okay.
issue.
So this mobile XTerm has the facility that it can launch everything on its own. So it doesn't need external server because it has its own X server, and you can launch Firefox and other things. So you see this, this has been launched already. Okay, so let's proceed with this. So depending upon what you want, if you are comfortable with PuTTY, you can use PuTTY, and you can forward the request to X11 server, X server, and then you can use it from PuTTY the way I have told you. Else, if you don't want to do those configuration, you want to make it easier and simpler, then you can work with, this your mobile XTerm as well. And you can
Yeah.
download it. Both are available for free. Xming is also available for free, so you can download it from internet. Mobile XTerm also you can download it from internet. Mobile XTerm comes in two variants. It comes as an installer. So let's say you are in office and you don't have access to install it, then it also gives you a facility to download portable version, which is like you just take it as a package, as a zip file, and then you can run it directly without installing it. So you can either go for install or you can run it as a portable. Right, so this is about installation. So I have given you, okay, I forgot to tell you in the first screen. So it gives you inventory, and you can, by default it takes your home and it decides Aura inventory. And you can also change its location as required. Let it get launched again, and then I'll show you. So whenever this universal installer launches, everything will get written here. You can see this file. Okay, sorry, I did something wrong. So by default it gives you home path. So that will be something like /home/oracle/aura inventory. I'm changing it because I want to keep everything under /user1. So /user1 is a directory I have created under root, and I want all my binaries, all my softwares, everything to be inside this particular directory. So I'm creating this Aura inventory here,
Okay.
and I can see it here what it does. So it is creating a create central inventory.sh. So there is a script created as soon as this directory is created, and it is launching this universal installer. So my universal installer is launched. Okay, and this is the GUI mode. Like I told you 3 modes earlier. For 12c you should just remember silent and GUI. Before that, the earlier version, just in case for your knowledge, there was also a console mode which was interactive. The way you interact with GUI, similarly there was a way to interact with your command prompt. It was giving you option, you were entering values into it, and installation was proceeding. So this is the welcome page for your installation. I'll go for next. This is the second page, which gives you three options: skip auto updates, select patches from the directory, search my Oracle support for updates. Okay, in case you are going for a production environment and your client says yes, they want to set up, their Oracle support, they already have a support from Oracle, then you have to specify the username, the password, the proxy settings they have, do a test connection, and then enter it. Why do we do this? The reason being, client, when they install a Oracle software, they want to get updated about security vulnerabilities or critical patches which are being released on quarterly basis. So client don't want to get away from them if there is any security bug coming in future, or there is a bug with the Weblogic and Oracle launches a bug later, in a later quarter. So client wants to be aware of it, and they don't want to miss those opportunities because they have to keep their system up to date. In that case, they will provide you the credentials which are required, and based on the settings, proxy settings will be something like internally they will have their team to which this goes, this request goes. So once you specify those things, proxy server, proxy port, proxy username, and proxy password, which customer will have the details for, so that connects to Oracle support, and if any security bugs or any critical bugs comes in, automated mail will be going to them saying that this is the bug is going to release in next quarter. So if they want to apply, they will Oracle will mainly recommend them that you can go for applying these patches or these bugs. So clients then decides whether they want to go for it or not. If they want to go for it, then they will ask the respective admins, their WebLogic admins, that we have got these bug alert, and then you will guys have to apply these patches, or you will have to run these security updates into our system. So our system is updated and there are no vulnerabilities in our system. So in that case, you will use this and you will update it in the system so that you are updated about any security vulnerabilities. This is in case you have any patches you want to put in, you can just browse it wherever you are saving those patches, define that location, and those patches can be applied. This is skip auto updates because we don't want anything. We don't want any updates. Because this is a demo system or a development system. Also, people don't go for it. They want auto updates because they want to work with a particular version of system. And also, even if you do this skip auto updates, and later in the future, if you come to know about a bug or a problem with the system, and there is a patch released for it, you can directly go to Oracle support. You can download the patch and then you can apply it manually also. So that is always possible. So going with skip auto updates. Now see this. So by default, again, it gives Oracle home / Oracle / home / Oracle middleware, Oracle home. What I'm gonna do is, again, I will make it into my directory. So I'll use /01 middleware and Oracle home. So this is where I'm trying to create directory where all my WebLogic installation will be done. Going for the next one. Right. So Fusion middleware infrastructure and Fusion middleware infrastructure with examples. During prerequisites, we have seen that if you go for Fusion middleware infrastructure, the space required will be 1.4 GB. If you go for this, it will be required 1.5 GB. So let's go with examples because we can see few things. What all things are getting installed. So this is Oracle Fusion middleware 12c infrastructure. We have core server. These are the products under core server. Administrator tools. So these enterprise manager, you see enterprise manager is getting installed. Database support, open source components, and examples. So these are the examples which are getting, and you see this. So this version, which is 12.2, JRF is also getting installed. So JRF and enterprise manager, WLS for FMW, and there is a diagnostic tool group. So OPatch, Toplink, developer, and FMW platform generic is getting installed. We are going to next. Right, at this stage, what it does is it checks for the system configuration. For example, it is checking for operating system certification, and this is passed. In case any of this fails, you should not proceed with the installation. The reason being, maybe your installation is successful, but later when you're trying to work with system, it can produce some errors. Okay, and that errors cannot be rectified easily. The reason being, you did some compromise during your installation. So few files, maybe a library file or a jar file which should be there in some location doesn't exist. Although your installation does not require it, maybe it just places that file. So installation is successful, but those files are not in place. It's missing. Now when you try to do something else with your system, it fails later on, saying that complaining about library is missing or something. So this is the log. You can see it is same as what you see on your backend. If you go to temp location, it will show you the logs there as well. So it just tells you what it is doing, what system is doing. So it just did a prerequisite check. So first thing is your operating system certificate. It was checking whether your system is Oracle 6, Oracle 7 or Red Hat 7 or Red Hat 6, because this is for Linux, so it is checking for the Linux versions. So actual result, it found what? Oracle 6. So it found that okay, this is Oracle 6 system, so we can proceed with the installation. Second thing, it was checking for Java version. So expected, as we saw earlier, that your Java should be 1.8 update 51. Okay, so and actual is 1.877. So it's fine. So you are using a version higher than this. So system is comfortable with it, and it allows, it says both checks passed. So once both checks are passed, we can go ahead to the next step. In case, as I said, in case it fails, you have to rectify it right there. Okay, now this again is an email. Like I told, you can set up an email based on your organizations. If they have assigned a particular team for it, they will provide you the email and the password for that. You want to receive security updates, you can set it here. So we don't want it. If you want it, if you have an account with Oracle, you can even specify your username and password. So I wish to receive security updates via Oracle support. I'm saying no. So it will complain. It will say you have not provided email address. So do you wish to remain uninformed of critical security issues in your configuration? I'm saying yes, because I don't want anything those. If there is a problem with my system, I can apply patch myself. So I don't need this. Right. So this is the last window, which gives you a summary of what all selection you have done so far and what will be installed in your system. So this is Oracle home location. So my Oracle home location is /user01 middleware Oracle home. Log file location. You see this. So this is the log file location, which is said this log is what you can check for installation. This space says is required 2088 MB and available is 23644 MB. So I have much more than that. So there is no issue with it. And then features. It just gives you a feature. What all features will be installed as a part of this installation. Now you see this. There is one button here which says save response file. Okay, what is this file? If I'll do this, I want to save this response file. I'll go to /user1 and I'll put it into this one. So I'll say fmw 12.2.1 okay, so I'm naming it fmw 12.2.1 underscore install.rasp. okay, so what is this response file? You remember, like I told, 12C when we do, we can go for GUI, which we are doing right now. So this installation is GUI installation. We can also do the silent install. So silent install is something like it takes values from a file. So when I save this response file, what it does is it saves the details, whatever selection I have done so far. When I ran this GUI, I did some selection, I specified the directory name and the Java and everything. So all those are already saved. And am I audible? I got an alert saying that my connection has been lost.
No, sure, we can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay, right. So fine. So this save, I am saving a response file so that I can use it later, when we'll do a silent install. So I'm proceeding with the installation now. Just make a note of this. This is where we'll see our installation logs. So going with install, and my installation has started. You can see view logs and messages here as well. If you do this, it shows you here. You see this here. Otherwise, you can also see it from backend. Let's go to backend and see. If I'll go to /tmp/ sorry, emp slash let me check the latest. This is the latest, and this is the file which is doing my installation, where installation logs are getting populated. So if I'll check it, it will keep on populating it until this installation runs. So you can see it from here, or you can see it from backend. You can also see few messages. So messages is like at a higher level, it shows what all it does. So it's showing you preparing the installer, starting file copy. So prepare, so it was preparing it, then it does installation copy. So this one at back end, you get more information. If you want to, go with each and everything what it does, then you can go for this. If you just want to keep it at a higher level, you can go for this. You can disable these as well. So there are these steps. So it does preparation for the environment, it does the copying, then it generates the library, it performs some string substitution, links it, does the setup, saves inventory, and then runs some post installation scripts. So let's wait for some time until this installation is done. It's done 18, 19, 21% now. So copying is where it takes quite a long time, and then during setup and during post installation script.
And yesterday you were facing some problem, right, while mounting the mount point. How did you resolve it?
Okay, yeah. So yeah, forgot to tell you. So that virtual box, what happens is it is missing some kernel headers. Okay, so it is like when you're trying to mount it on a virtual box, when you add guest additions, it says it cannot run it because some kernel is not found. So it says you have to specify a kernel directory. For that, what you can do is you can install a kernel header yourself. So using a command called yum install kernel headers. Once those headers are installed, then your guest edition can those kernel files will be available to your system, and then you can do it, mount it. So it was missing this kernel headers.
Okay, means it will mount as in that Windows in D drive or something. It will mount the D drive in Linux environment, right?
Yes. So when you create, let's say you have created a virtual machine, and you want to mount your Windows directly into that Linux machine. Okay. So you can do it after that. So for that, you have to first do a guest OS installation. Once that is done, then you can mount your systems into your Linux, and then your C drive or D drive, you can see it as a mount point, and you can copy files from there if needed.
Yeah,
But
okay,
you have to
okay.
make sure that when you do any such mount points, you make it read only, because I remember an instance where I gave it full permission. Okay, and I wanted to remove some file, and I removed it thinking that I'm just removing it from my Linux host, and it eventually deleted it from my Windows. Okay, so you have to be little cautious about it. So when you work with mount points, actually your system directly gets assigned to that mount point. So it's nothing but from your Linux system, you are actually accessing your Windows directly. Okay. So
Yes,
just
yes.
try to give it read-only permission, so that in case you try to delete it, your system doesn't allow. Okay. Because first time I gave it full permissions. So full permissions means I can copy it, I can move it, I can even delete it. So I tried to delete it thinking that I'm just deleting it from Linux host, and it deleted it from my Windows. So just be cautious on that.
Yeah, okay, okay.
So make it read only. Whenever you're mounting, you can make it read only. So what I've done now is like I created my virtual machine. I have, once I got this IP, so once this IP is available here, I connected to my putty. So after that, so I'm using this virtual machine only once I created it. I'm not going to use it. So I minimize it, and then I'm using putty or mobile xterm to do rest of my stuff, because that's how a general system works. When you go for servers, this is how you will get a Unix command prompt. You will not get anything else. You will not get a GUI box or anything. So I connected to my putty, and then WinSCP is what I used. Yeah, also install WinSCP so that you can transfer your files into your Unix server.
Okay.
Okay, so we are in last few steps. So prepare
Next,
is done.
we are mounting the mount points of Windows only, right? Then there is no transfer required, right?
See, mount point actually is, if you are mounting, then you don't need this. Okay, you can copy it directly. But what happens is, in an actual system, when you work, most of the time they will just give you a server. Okay, and they will give you the mount points, but those mount points will not have binaries. See, why do we try to mount Windows mount points? Because in these directories, let's say in D drive, I have already saved the software. So I have my software, something like Oracle, JDK, Fusion Middleware, everything I have saved in D drive. So that's why I'm trying to mount it so that I can copy it from there. But in actual system, when you get a system, your system will be clean. There will be nothing in that system. You will just have mount points. So at that time, you will have to use software, something called WinSCP, so that you download those
Okay.
softwares, and then through WinSCP, you can transfer it to your servers. So I'm keeping it to
Okay.
actuals, okay, so that once you get a new server, you eventually have to transfer it through WinSCP or any such software, FTP software, through
FileZilla.
you can push in softwares.
Yes, yes, I understood, but I just had confusion that anyway you mounted the mount point. Why did the use of Windows API? So that's what.
Okay. So yeah, two ways. It's like whenever you work with a virtual machine, you can of course mount it, considering that you know that you have saved something on your drive. So maybe you have saved something on your download, or maybe you have saved something on your software folders in your Windows directory. So if you mount those will be available to your virtual machines, and using that you can simply copy. Okay. So that's one.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's why we do it. But on actual system, because tomorrow you'll have to work with the actual, so I thought it is good that you see it this way, so that you know
Okay.
what
Yes.
has to be done.
Yes. Understood. Yeah.
But if you want to mount it, you can test it yourself. You can mount it, and then you can check. You can do a copy and all.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Right. So this installation is being done. It says everything is completed, 100% complete, and we can go for the next one. So next, again, it shows you the installation location. So /user1 middleware Oracle home is where it has been installed, and all these products, all these features of the products are installed successfully. So this installation is complete. We'll click on finish, and we'll go into our u01/middleware, and let's see, there should be Oracle home here. So we have a Oracle home, and you see all these files are here. Right. So once this is done, so this completes your installation. Okay. And you can see that a WL server is created where all WL server binary, there is a coherence directory, EM directory, which is your Fusion middleware, Oracle common, where most of your libraries will be sitting. OPatch is when you want to patch something. This is for your universal installer files. This is all install related files, config tools, inventory. I think this is what we have seen when we went for directory structure in Fusion middleware. So it gave you this idea that these all directories will be present. Now next thing is configuration. Okay, so once your installation is done, what is the next step? So let's go into Oracle common/bin. So this is the directory. So my Oracle home, wherever I have created my Oracle home, then Oracle common/bin. Let's check for the files here. So there is a file called config.sh. This is the file I'll be using to run my configuration. So I'll go for this directory. I'll run this in MobaXterm. Okay. And now I'll run ./config.sh. So this is the file I'm trying to run, and this is the first thing was installation, where I installed Weblogic, and it has given me all the required folders, directory structure, and the binaries. and now I'm going to configure my domain. That means this is where I'm going to create a domain for my Weblogic. So I run this command config.sh. So this is the configuration wizard. Okay, one more thing, in earlier versions of Weblogic, if you try to install it, it was giving you option that when you install, as soon as you install, at the installer, the last window, it was giving you option to start configuration manager automatically. So if you don't uncheck it and you click on finish, immediately your configuration manager will start and it will allow you to create a domain. But in 12c and all, they have kept installation and this separate, configuration domain separate, because the reason being, this is Fusion middleware now. So you may want to work with other Fusion middleware products. So for example, you have done the WebLogic installation, but now you may want to work with OAM, or you may want to work with the IDM or any other Fusion middleware products, maybe BIP or some other installations. So in that case, you install everything first and then you go for a configuration, so that once installation is done for everything, you will have features for all the other products. So then it can be integrated during configuration and you will get those options while selecting. Okay, so this is our configuration screen. So it says create a new domain, and this is the path. So because I've run it from that path, it automatically gives me this, and it is base domain. You have to keep it same till here. If required, you can rename this one based on what you want. So let's say if I'll say BISP printing, so I can change the domain name here, and I'm going for the next one. Okay, you see here, so these are the templates. Okay, so you can select templates here based on what you want. So there is something called basic web server domain, which is nothing but it is going to install your WebLogic server domain, and then there are other templates. So you have enterprise manager, you have user messaging service basic, WSM policy. So there are many. So this again depends upon the application you are going to use. So your organization decides that they want to go for a web service application, then depending upon, you have to use different set of templates. If they want to go for something else, some other templates, or it is just like it wants just enterprise manager, and there are few things, when I select enterprise manager, few things will be selected automatically, like Oracle JRF and other WebLogic coherence cluster, because these are required for functioning of enterprise managers. If you want, you can use this. As soon as I am using user messaging, WSM is selected automatically. Okay, there is one thing to be noted, you cannot select all of these, okay, because few will conflict. For example, let me try selecting all of these and show you. So I'm trying to select everything. You see this, as soon as I select something, few things automatically just goes. You see this? So something which is not compatible, it goes automatically. So right now I'll show you just the basic ones which we need. So I'm going to use the basic template. So there won't be any JRF or anything. That's just the basic one. And yeah, here one more thing before we just proceed. So it says create domain using product template. So these are the template which are defined as a part of product. Okay, if you have some customize, or if you have some other environment where your domain already has a template, so you have a created template, then you can go for create domain using custom template, and based on your previous environment you want to keep it same as that. So you don't want to go for selection because you have already selected it during initial installation or configuration. You can select your template from there and then go for installation. Here we are just going with basic and going for the next one. Next thing is ask for name and password. So name is WebLogic I'm giving, and password I'm giving, let's say WebLogic 1. So I specify the password, I'm going ahead next. Now here it gives you two options. So domain made, it says development mode or production mode. I can select one of these and then I can decide on JDK. So by default it picks up my JDK because that's how I have launched my configuration. So it has automatically picked up, so I don't need to change JDK. In case I want to change my JDK, I can change it also. I can browse it wherever it is and then I can change it. But this is what I want, so this is mine. Now development and production mode. So right now let's go with development mode and then later we'll try to do this production mode as well. And then like I was saying, this is a screen which gives you option to select admin server, node manager and manage server. And like I told while installing, I will show you that even if I don't select anything, admin server will be there by default. You see this? So I did not select anything. So let me go back. If I want to select, I have to do something like this. But I don't want to go for any selection. But when I was explaining your domain during slides, I told you even if I don't select, this admin server will get selected automatically. And you see this admin server is selected 7001 and it's listening on all local addresses. Okay, so I'll prefer not listening all local addresses. So I'll select this because it gives me opportunity to modify it. Now here, instead of listening on all addresses, I'll specify my IP. So that it doesn't listen on IPv6 address, it doesn't listen on this local port, local has to know, it will just listen on my IP. And listen port, if I want to change it, I can change it here or I can keep it default. So remember this, whenever you do installation, admin server by default will be 7001. If I want to change it, I can change it here. I can make it 7101 or 7100, anything. Okay, or I can keep it same. But if you want to change admin server port, this is where you can change. Enable SSL, if you want your admin server to enable SSL, you can check this box. If you don't want it, you can uncheck it. So SSL is if you want to use HTTPS, then you have to use it. If you don't want to use it, you can go without this. So let's say I'll select it just to show you so that we can access it on both link. We can access it on HTTP as well as HTTPS. Going for the next one, and this is what it shows. So basic WebLogic server domain, and it is using this jar file. You can see this sample application. This is the jar file which will be used during configuration. Going ahead, and I'm saying create. So when I create this, one admin server will be created and nothing else. So preparing, extracting domain contents and creating domain security information. So security information is same thing. We are trying to create a user WebLogic. We have assigned it the password. So those WebLogic user will be created and password information will be stored. So remember this we are creating in development mode. So it's done 33%. And again, this should be visible in the logs. If we'll go to /cd/tmp, if I do tailf, it shows me the log. I'm just checking that this is accessible from my Windows host.
And there is a concept of high availability also, right?
On you are asking in terms of server or in WebLogic?
In WebLogic itself.
Yeah. So high availability is when we go for clustering.
Yes, yes. Well, if admin server is not available, so it's like active passive. You're telling, right? So
Okay, so you are saying okay, for admin server, that means you need at least 2 servers for that. Okay, so in that case, when you have 2 servers, you will be having admin running on both. And on in
yeah,
case your one is down, you are asking admin this high availability for admin server.
yes,
Yeah, so that can be done. So I think we have shown it even during our slides. If you have 2 servers, you
yes.
will have admin servers at both location and manage servers at both locations, so that you can run it from both sides. So that again, it will be there when you have 2 servers at least, and you can run it from both sides, so that your server will be available even if your host goes down. Okay, this one is
Okay.
not proceeding. Let's say what's wrong.
And will you be covering that also, or
We can cover that. I'll have to clean up some space on my system, and we can do it later. Anyways, when we'll go for clustering and all, once clustering is being explained, after that we'll do that.
okay, yeah.
Unable to get local address. Okay, so my this is done. Now you just saw this. When I was running my configuration, there was one error returned in my log file which says unable to get local address. The reason being, although this server I am trying to access, which is my virtual server, but first of all there is no entry into my etc host in on Windows side. Okay, so there is, and I did not select any local address. I just gave the IP. So although IP was there, but this is not there in etc host, so it complained. So which can be ignored because I know I have not made an entry. So this is being done. Configuration is completed here. I'll go for next one, and then this says this is the directory where domain is located, and this is the admin URL. Okay, let's go to the directory first. I can copy it from here, or I can just go to this. So it's under Oracle Home User Products domain. Let's see. /user1/middleware/ Oracle Home User domain. And this is my domain. Now inside this domain, I have many directories like auto deploy, bin, config, console, ext, init.info, lib, node manager, resources, security, servers, etc. I can go to bin where all my binaries are. Okay, so all these binaries will reside here for node manager, for component, for WebLogic. Okay, now let's see this. It says this is the directory. So I have validated this under this directory. Yes, my files are present. So if I'll go, this is outside. So this is my directory. This is my domain where I can see all the directories are present. So yes, my domain is created. Now let's check for this console. So this is my IP and this is my console. Let's see if this is visible. So if I'll go for this, let's say HTTP 192.168.0.103.7001 port/console. Okay, I don't see anything here. Okay, so that means let me finish this. So my domain is there, and let me launch a Firefox. So if you have done X11 forwarding, you can run Firefox even from your putty. Right, so I got this. Now let me see if my console is up. Right, so it says unable to connect. That means my domain is created, but my console is still not up. So even after creating the domain, it says this link is where I can access my console. But when I'm trying to access this link, this is not up. The reason being, although domain is created, but my admin server has not been started yet. And how do I start my admin server? I go here, start weblogic.sh. I run this. So I'm starting my WLS now. So my admin server, once it starts, that means domain resources will be available and domain will be up and running. Okay, some exception for the security, it says. Okay, this failed for complaining something about WebLogic user. So something happened to security. It says Java long security pay. Okay, let me do one thing for now. Although this should not happen, but let's see. Maybe I entered a wrong password or something. So I'll explain about this file later. Okay, so today's session we'll keep it till there. and then tomorrow we gonna see. So this was the simple installation without any JRF or anything. So it just give you access to WebLogic installation configuration is what we have done. Tomorrow we will be covering on different installation types and all. I'm trying to start. Let's see if this gets started. Otherwise we'll cover it tomorrow. Let's wait for some time. I'm just thinking I did a mistake while typing the password. Let's see if that's the case. Yeah, I think so. So maybe when I enter the password there, I press some wrong key and then password is instead something else. So fine, that we can get corrected. So we'll check for the bringing up console tomorrow, and we'll work out with that one. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is what we have seen. We have seen the installation, the basic installation for WebLogic. So one thing on terms of this. So although I have done the basic installation without any JRF and all, but I have still used the Fusion middleware. Okay. So there is, like I told earlier, you can also go for generic. So generic also gives you the same feature. Only thing is it doesn't give you those many templates what we have seen in this one. But you can do the same thing even with Fusion middleware. When I do an installation, I don't select any of the templates and it becomes same as generic, because Fusion middleware anyway is built on top of generic. So it's still the same, only with set of extra libraries and files. So what I have run today, it's like a generic install and nothing else on top of that. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. So I think we'll wrap up our session for today here, and we'll proceed with the rest tomorrow.
Okay. Fine.
Sure.
Sure, Mohan. Sure, Rakesh. Okay. Thanks for attending this, and I will keep this recording. So I have not got the box set credentials yet. So once he shares it with me, these recordings, whatever we are doing, I'll save it there, and then you guys can use this recording for yourself. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, fine. Thanks. Thanks, guys. Have a great time. Nice evening. Have a nice day.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye, both of you.